Hello, everybody. It's Marcy from Waves of Communication here again for another episode of live language facilitation Q&A. I'm here on YouTube today, and because it's Monday at noon. So thanks. I see there's some folks already starting to join me. And I do have a wonderful Q&A to get started with today, talking about children who are screaming instead of using words for communication. And I'm going to get to that in just a minute. But first, I have a couple of announcements. The first announcement is the audiobook giveaway that I was doing over the weekend is over now. And there are a number of families, parents, moms, I guess they're all moms, who have requested a copy of the audiobook for the giveaway. And for those of you who have gotten it, I'm just going to say their names real quick. It's Dercy and Laura and Cy and Diana and Wendy and Esther and Oleana and Sarah and Rinna and Amina and Patty and Donna and Dawn and Patty and Nira. So all of you who have entered for the audiobook giveaway, you should have received a Facebook message from my associate, my social media gal. If you haven't, be sure to reach out to me here. You're going to be getting a copy of the audiobook for, let me show you just really quick. It's my book that's out. It's called If It Isn't Fun, It Isn't Fun. Teach Your Child to Talk Faster Than Speech Therapy. If you missed out on the audiobook giveaway, no worries. The audiobook is available now on Amazon. And it is available audiobook on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle, also on Audible and iTunes, and then also on Kindle if you're a digital reader, and paperback like that. So you can find all of that over on Amazon. All right, so that was announcement number one. Announcement number two, which is very exciting, is that especially for those of you who are viewing from outside of the United States, and particularly those of you who are viewing in India, in Mumbai especially, there is a workshop that I am putting on with my friend Devangi Dalal, who is an audiologist and speech and language pathologist in India. She's in Mumbai, and she and I are doing a joint workshop. It is called Communication Switch, and it is designed for parents of young children. It's an interactive workshop for parents, whether your child is late talking or not, to help you learn how to facilitate natural spoken language with your child in a super fun way. This interactive workshop. Now, the workshop is in person in Mumbai. That's why I'm reaching out to folks who live in India. But just if you don't live in Mumbai, no worries, because it's also going to be live streamed, and I am hosting the live stream end of it. So you're going to have my friend Devangi as your in-person host if you live in Mumbai, and you will have me as your online host if you join from anywhere else via live stream. And it's going to be available all over the world, but it is on a Sunday morning in India. And so you will see, actually Monday morning in India. So it's going to be in the United States, it's going to be overnight. So we're having our little overnight chai party where we're going to be doing the language facilitation communication switch workshop. And if you want to learn all about that and get your ticket and all of that, in the description of this video, you can find the information about communication switch. It's on the 22nd of December is our first workshop. And if it works out as well as we think it is going to, we're going to be doing it monthly. So I know it's right before Christmas here in the US, but folks in India and all over the world, I know, are working this month. They're not waiting for holidays to be over. They're using holidays and special time with their family, because while other places in the world are celebrating Christmas, I know people in India are celebrating time together. You're hanging out and enjoying time while all those Christians are getting busy with their holiday. You had yours last month, and now you're spending some wonderful time with your families together, and this is the best time for you to be starting language facilitation, which is why this workshop, the Communication Switch workshop, is starting again on the 22nd of December. You can find the details in the description box. There's a website dedicated to it. All right, so that's enough for announcements. Thank you for joining me today. Let's get on with some live Q&A, language facilitation Q&A. And the question that I had that started in today, if you have a question, by the way, go ahead and put it in the comments. The question that I had that I'm going to start off with is what to do if your late talking child is using screaming as their communication behavior. So for example, there's, oh, hi, VJ and Boopinder and Wendy. Hey, Wendy. Wendy's one of the people who got one of my free audiobooks. So I'm very excited to see that. Oh, one more announcement. Sorry, I forgot before I get into this. And I know it's really important, but I saw Wendy and it reminded me about you, Wendy. This Saturday, I'm going to be in Orlando live. You're going to get to meet me live. There is it's at high school there. You can find out information on my Facebook page or send me a note and I can give you details. But I'm going to be in Orlando on Saturday at a workshop. It's not a workshop, it's a event. It's a wonderful free for families holiday event. It's designed for kids with autism, but any kiddo can go. There's going to be vendors. The first 90 minutes is sensory friendly. So if your child, you want to have a chance to go to a wonderful holiday event with your child where there's going to be interactive games, there's giveaways, there's door prizes, there's music and dancing, and it's sensory friendly too. It's from 1 to 4 p.m. this Saturday, the 7th of December in Orlando. So Wendy, I hope you're able to get over there because I know you live in Florida in the vicinity of Orlando. So you could maybe get over there, and I hope you do to come over and say hi. It's my goal this year to get out more and more. I'm doing a conference in January. I've just submitted to do a conference in May. I'm getting out in the world to meet people in person now, more and more in 2020. That's my goal. So I've got all of my wonderful online resources for folks, but I want to get out and say hi and meet you in person. So that's why I'm really hoping that folks can get there. And I hope to see you, Wendy. And I hope you say, oh, nice, wonderful. All right, so let's get into talking about screaming kids. It's no fun to have a late talker who has fallen into the habit of using screaming as a communication tool. And that's what it is. It's just like we use speech to say things like, I don't like that, I'm so excited, I'm very frustrated right now, or hey, mom, come here. Talkers use language to communicate those things, and late talkers who don't have ability to use language may fall in the habit of using screaming to communicate any or all of those things I just talked about. So here are a few steps to get you through the process to help your child start to use words instead of screaming. And it's the same process that you use no matter what your child is using instead of words. So if your child's dragging you across the room or hitting you or whatever, and it's a behavior you don't like, then these are the strategies for you. So the first thing it is, the second it happens, you have to understand that it is a communication, that your child is intending to say something beyond that yell, that scream, even if it's the high-pitched one, even if it seems to come out of random, it means something. Even if it means the thing that your child is thinking in your head, it could mean, hey, mom, and your child is screaming. The first thing you need to do the second you hear it is respond to your child as if they had used some nice language, like, I hear you, you're talking to me. Some sort of acknowledgement that your child is talking. They are communicating with their mouth. They're screaming. They're talking to you. So this is what you do, is you say, I hear you talking to me. I hear you trying to tell me something. I hear you. Tell your child you hear them and then go to them. Don't try to yell back. Don't try to yell at your child. Just go to them, because all you've let them know so far is that you hear them, but you have to go to them and then you immediately let them know, I don't understand what that means. Even though you might understand what that means, it doesn't really say anything besides just a noise. And your child is waiting for you to start guessing. That's what a scream does, is it triggers you to start to communicate for your child. So your child doesn't have words, they want something, they scream, you start saying in your head, what do I have to do to get my child to stop screaming? I have to give them the words they need. Okay, do you want a this? 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 This is what typically parents do when their kids start screaming. They know they don't like the screaming, but they automatically, because they want the screaming to stop, they automatically start to give words to your child for those things. And this is where you need to make a shift in your language facilitation with your child. So the first thing you do is acknowledge that they are communicating. They are saying something to you. And second, that you don't understand what that is. And when you do that, when you tell your child you don't understand what they're trying to say, after you tell them that you told them that you want to hear them, like, I know you're trying to say something, but I don't understand what it is. That first part is very, very important, because as soon as you say, I don't understand screaming, I don't understand screaming, without that first thing that says, I want to know what you're saying, then your child's just going to get frustrated immediately and they're not going to try. But if you let them know that you want to try to know what that screaming is, and you want to work with your child in the moment to figure out, you want something and you're screaming now. How can I teach you how to communicate this idea that you have right now in this moment in a way that's better for everybody and not this screaming? And so you have to determine what that is right there and then. If your child wants, let's say, a drink and they scream, and because every time they scream, think about what you do. Do you run with a drink to get them to stop screaming? Do you anticipate? Do you guess what they want because you can't understand the screaming? It's typically what happens. And what you need to do instead is you need to tell your child that you can't understand and that you want to help them communicate what they want. I don't understand you, and I know you want something. So you have to give them a little bit so that they know, she is trying. My mom is trying to understand me and not try to shut down my screaming, because even though it is not fun to listen to screaming, that whole idea of wanting to shut it down is usually what happens first. Stop screaming, talk to me normal so that I can understand you, which is what you're feeling, because nobody likes to hear that screaming, of course. However, your child doesn't appreciate the fact that you don't like their screaming. They don't like the fact that you aren't reading their mind or understanding them. So do you see how it falls into that situation, and it can become a habit? I scream, you guess. I scream, you guess. If you guess wrong, I scream again. You guess more. I scream louder. You guess right. I don't scream anymore. Okay? So what you need to do is not try to get the screaming to stop. You need to try to replace it altogether. So you say to your child, I know you're trying to communicate something with me, and I know that you want something, feel something, but you have to give them a vague. You can't give them exactly. You have to say, I think you might want, not like, I think you want a cookie right now. Do you want a cookie? Because as soon as you say, I think you want, then you replace it with, do you want? So if you are asking your child a question, screaming, you hear screaming, and then you respond with a question, do you want a this? Do you want a this? Do you want a this? Then you're just sending your child into receptive language mode again. Okay, I'm waiting for you to guess correctly. And when you don't, then it doesn't pan out for them. So instead, you need to give the responsibility back to your child to communicate their exact message in another way. So you say to them, I know you're trying to communicate with me. I don't understand this screaming. I want to know. I think you want something. So make a vague guess. I think you want something from me. And then stop. And then stop talking. I think you want this. Stop talking. Don't ask, do you want? Don't say whatever. Just own it. I think you want this. If you're correct, your child will smile and you'll say, oh, you want a drink. And then you facilitate the language to give your child a drink. Here is your drink. I will get you some water. You are trying to tell me that you want a drink. You can say water, drink. Those are good words to talk about drinking. I understand you now. And make sure you tell your child, even though they never said a word and you said most of it, you said everything. Aha. I understand you. I understand you want a drink. I understand you want a XYZ. And then you give it to your child. And if you're wrong, your child will tell you, no, 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 no. They'll shake their head no. And then you have to get, then I was wrong. I didn't understand you. And then always the open-ended question. What do you want? Just ask your child the open-ended question. Don't say, I don't understand you. Do you want, do you want, do you want, do you want? Don't go back to guessing because you guessed wrong the first time. If you guessed wrong the first time and your child says yes, you guessed wrong, no, 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 or they start to scream more, oh, I'm wrong. I still don't understand you. And then quiet. Because your child will try to help you understand what they want. They'll show you, they'll take you, they'll drag you there, they'll do something to get you to do it. If you respond to the scream by just complying with it, then you'll get more scream. If you comply to the scream with the way to work out of it, screaming, and let your child know that that screaming hurts your ears, but you can't say it like, oh no, you're hurting my ears. First, you have to communicate with them. I understand that you're trying to tell me something. And then later you can say, woo, that screaming really hurts my ears. And your child may care or not. That's the thing. The more you complain about your child screaming, they don't care. They are using it as their language, especially if your child screams randomly. If it's like they're playing on their own, quietly, perfectly happy, and then you hear this blood-curdling, high-pitched whatever to get your attention, that's what it is. It's just getting your attention. Your child's not suddenly upset. They know that when they scream loud, you'll come running. And that's what happens. So when they scream loud, come running, but facilitate language. That's how you stop screaming. All right, let's see. BJ says, hi, Marcy. I am following your basic independent course for my daughter. Very good. I am seeing improvements with her behavior. Thank you so much. I have one question. She responds when I call her name, but when someone else calls her name, she won't answer. Can I ask her name to her? How can I teach her to answer her name? So she's answering her name when you call her, not so much because necessarily it is her name. She could be responding to her name because you are talking and she's responding to you. So now that you've been doing language facilitation and she's responding more to your talking, she probably is a better listener now. And when you talk, she knows it's safe. You're not going to prompt her or try to teach her to do something else. You're being more generous about her ideas and responding to her ideas. But someone else, she doesn't have necessarily that same level of trust yet with them as she does with you. And she knows that when you talk to her, it's going to be safe, that you're not going to prompt her or teach her. So the first thing I want to ask is, or suggest that you consider in your analysis is, are a lot of other people still prompting her to say words, the words that they want her to say? If that's what's going on, then she's not listening to them. She's going to shut shut them down, just like she did you before you started to use language facilitation and natural talking and the words. Tell her the words that she wants to say instead of the words that you want her to say. So first of all, analyze if that's going on around her, because there is a reason, there's only two reasons that children don't listen and follow and respond when people talk to them. Number one, they don't understand what the person is saying. And if your child knows her name, she certainly understands what people are saying. And the second is if they don't want to. They just aren't interested. They don't like the person. They don't trust the situation, or they're too shy, or there's many, many other reasons that children don't want to communicate with people. As a language facilitator parent, when it's much easier, obviously, to get your child to engage and interact and communicate with you in your household because you have control over that environment. But outside, you don't have so much control, and you don't know how people are talking with your child, and you don't know how she's responding. So you need to observe those situations as much as you can and analyze, where is your child breaking down? Who does she not like to talk to, and why? Is that person too loud? Are they too pushy? Are they, whatever it is? Because if she is talking with you and not with other people, that's where you have to get out your blockage analysis again. And, if you're in my independent study course, you learn how to analyze blockages everywhere, not just in your house, because it's easy for you to control those things. You can't so much control other people and their habits and what they do with their teaching with your child. However, you can alert them to the things that are working well for you in your household. And this is what I always suggest to families when they see things are working at home but not at school, is that you take video of your child, have someone else take video of you interacting with your child, so that the educators who are doing it differently can watch you and see how you are able to elicit language, get better behavior, those kinds of things with your child, because perhaps they aren't aware of these strategies and they're not sure how they work. And the best way to teach anyone is with a demonstration. And if you demonstrate with your own video, that is my suggestion. So there's a few ways to get started to help you get into communicating, your child communicating a little bit more, responding a little bit more with people who are outside of your immediate family. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions come in, but I have one more. That did come in earlier today over on Facebook that I wanted to talk about today. And it is a very timely question. This mom has a late talker who is going to be home for the holidays, and he uses a visual calendar or a visual schedule, and that helps him get through his day without having to be prompted by people, and also help him feel more at ease and comfortable, because he can look at the calendar and see things like today is a school day, today is not a school day, things like that. And her question was, she's very interested in using this as a tool to help her put a little bit of structure and provide her child with a visual aid while he's home, between school and obviously over the holiday break, which is a great idea, because when kids are home from school, they tend to miss the structure of being guided through their day, and they can be quite bored and not know how to keep themselves busy without some sort of flow in your day at home. And this mom's question was, she has been following me for a while, and she understands that I'm not a big fan of visual communication systems like PECs or computer systems. Now, what you do need to understand is there is a big, big difference between visual aids like your calendar and using pictures to communicate everything, which is what those picture communication systems are. These visual aids like calendars are incredibly helpful for late talkers, because one of the things that they're challenged to do as nonverbal communicators is keep everything straight and understand the specifics, because the things that they remember from an auditory perspective are generalizations. If they're not really good listeners yet and they're very good visual learners, which most late talkers are way better visual learners than they are auditory learners. And these visual aids like a schedule, you can put a schedule in your day, so you can put it maybe by your child's room. There's many different ways you can do it. You can use individual sticky notes, for example. First, we're going to have breakfast, then we're going to go outside, then we're going to do, go do some art projects, then we're going to have some free play in the house, then we're going to have whatever. And each time one of those things goes by, you can pull off the sticky note off the door, and so that it's all done. And then down at the end one is go to bed. If you need to use sticky notes to get through multi-step tasks, like, getting ready in the morning, first you get, washed, brush your teeth, go potty, all those things in order. If you want your child to be more independent with those things, they are incredibly helpful. The most important thing about using them with a late talking child is to use these tools as tools to facilitate the language that goes with them. So, for example, if you're using a calendar, in fact, you could even use a calendar on a tablet or a phone and use your Google Calendar and block out in your day, and your child could go see it if they are if they're interested in technology. Or you can use a low-tech one that you make on a whiteboard in your house, or with sticky notes, or even a sheet of paper. You can write out your schedule for the day. Many late talkers like to have some sort of organizational tool to help them feel less anxious and know how to wait and move through their day. It'll help them get through the long break when they don't have anything scheduled. Now, you don't have to plan out every single minute of your day to make it emulate school. In fact, I recommend that you don't. Those schedules are just reminders, just like your schedule is in your calendar. My schedule, I would be lost without my calendar. How would I know when my live Q&As are coming versus people scheduling strategy sessions and all of that? Every single day, multiple times a day, I look at my calendar and I know it makes me feel good to know, okay, I've got these things to do, I've accomplished these things, and I can look back at my calendar and see routines and trends. So if your child does like visual cues, use a big calendar like they get at school. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them at teacher stores, those laminated ones that you can write on in dry marker and just wipe off when you're done with the day. You can put things in there. You can use a digital calendar. These things will help you facilitate calm and organization with your child. And then on top of that, you can talk about the vocabulary that goes with calendar. Talk about the words, schedule, book it, schedule me in, reorganize, and use the technology words. If your child's accessing it on their tablet, swipe over here, book it in, send me a confirmation. You can do all those different things and use those different language components to help your child understand. So even if they are a teenager and they really enjoy their school experience over the summertime, work out a calendar so that they take responsibility for calming themselves down on those days that aren't school. So that's a good way to help you. It's not the same using visual aids to help you with language facilitation. It's the same with gestures. Parents who don't understand what their kids are saying, they'll say, show me. If your child is at that point where they are having a meltdown and they're not communicating to you, just tell them, show me what you want. Don't give them details to tell you how to show you. Point there, drag me there, whatever. Just give them examples of the kinds of things they can do to communicate to you. And if they're too upset to communicate to you, it's time to stop, drop, and roll and give them a hug. Hug it out. Let them know that you love them and that you are telling them from the very, very beginning that you are interested in knowing their messages. Take the responsibility for being the one to have a hard time understanding them, and and you know that they are trying, and let them know that you are trying too. This is what your late talker wants from you. They want your assistance to help them learn to talk on their own terms, in their own way, about the things that they are thinking about. They don't want to say words over and over again for you. They do it because they're good and they're compliant and they like the therapy or whatever, but they're not learning language from it. They're just doing it because they're making you happy. What makes them happy is listening to you say the words for the things that they are thinking. And that's how you get kids to swap from screaming. It's how you get kids to swap from even tablet systems and PECs. Those systems don't have all the pictures and wonderful ideas that most late talkers have in their head. And they want to be able to share those things. And language facilitation is all about empowering your kiddos to share their messages from the beginning using words, right? So let's see. Okay. So VJ says, thank you, Marcy, but is it okay to ask her what her name is? Like, what is your name question? No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't ask her what her name is if you want for her to respond to that. I mean, you know what her name is. And so at you asking her, what is your name, to have her say her name out loud, that's just a prompt to say a word that you want her to say. So if you want her to introduce herself, hello, my name is Marcy, like that, then you need to model that behavior when you go to meet someone new. Hello, new friend. My name is Mommy, and this is my daughter, whoever. You model that language a lot of times before you say, then you cue your child, say hello to Mrs. Whatever. If you're introducing someone, it's appropriate for your child to tell other people their name. This is my daughter. This is my son. That's appropriate. But for your child to, what's your name? For you to ask your child their name while they're in front of someone else is just a prompt in front of someone else that's going to embarrass your child to make her say her name or not. Because if she chooses not to do it, then she looks like she doesn't even know her name. And just because she doesn't want to be stuck on the spot with you prompting her. If kids don't respond to social people, it's a social reason. It's not because they don't know how. And you're trying to teach your child to be social. And the only way to teach your child to be social is by helping them feel comfortable in the situation and by watching you. What do social communication look like? It looks like what I see all those people doing, because guarantee your child is watching what you're doing. And if she's not, spontaneously by herself, hello, Mrs. Jones, my name is so-and-so, that's your expectation and not really even what is socially appropriate or what we do with other people we meet who are talkers. We say, hello, my name is so-and-so. But if we're a little kid and we're in a new situation with new people, we wait to be introduced by our parents. And they say things. Like I said, you have to have a child who is a talker before, who is spontaneously using words on their own, before you can get them to memorize things and have it be like memorize songs or memorize whatever. If your child does not have a grip on verbal speech as a language, and they're really using nonverbal stuff to communicate as their main language, and then words as enhancement to try to get people to guess better, which is what the case is for most lay talkers. It's not conversation. It's just words to get you to guess what they want and need. And otherwise they do it independently, right? Until they take the responsibility, like, wait a minute, I want to be a talker. I want to learn to talk. That's when they take over, and that's when they learn to talk fast, when you facilitate the right language. They have to be able to hear you. They have to be wanting to listen to you because what you're saying is interesting to them. They have to feel no pressure to start to say words, and they have to think that it's fun. It has to be easy, happy, safe, and fun. And that's how you help your child learn to talk. Okay, everybody, I don't see any more questions for today, so I'm going to pop off of this live Q&A episode. I will see you on Thursday, and the book's available over on Amazon. And if you want to work with me personally, you can check my website, wavesofcommunication.com, for my free class. And you'll be able to see all kinds of information there, videos here on YouTube. It's my mission to help as many parents as possible teach your children, yourself, how to use natural spoken language. And I know parents are the best language facilitators. Here are the resources on my platform. Dig in and get started. And I'll see you all on my next video. Have a great one.